Look at whose idol just came down. That's great. And then it comes down there. Well, welcome back to Living with a Classic and the second episode of my new purchase. It's the 1990 Volkswagen LT31 car transporter, or tow truck, whatever you want to call it. Previous video, we went and picked this up, drove it home, brought my son along, had a blast, and, well, as promised, we're going to go through it a little bit more. We're going to go through everything that is wrong with it. It does have issues, like here, parking brake. Nothing happens, and it doesn't lock into place. That is one thing. We have issues with the throttle pedal sticking. We have issues with the brake pedal sticking. There's quite a few things. We're going to go through that. We're going to go through a bit of my plans. And then we're actually going to try and fix one thing. Because it's running really rich. And I think I've found the issue. And I'm just really curious. So we're going to try and see if we can fix that. And maybe try out the winch and a couple other things. Not sure. We'll see what we can get working. What doesn't work. We'll try everything. And we'll see if we can get it to run a little bit better. As you saw in the previous video, the seat is a little torn up here, but it's actually pretty comfy still. So probably can't find a matching one. I don't want to have a different one, so probably just be seat covers for now. We will see. Back here, we have a winch, which I haven't tried yet. The guy told me it doesn't work, but I mean everything's really rusty looking, and maybe we can take it apart, clean it, maybe not. However, I have found here is an in and out thing. I think that's for the winch. And in the glove box, I have also found something really interesting, which I hope we can get working. And that is a remote. I'd love to have a remote for the winch. Probably a dead battery. Let's see. Yeah, I do not have one of those. Kind of looks like the old style of camera batteries that we used to have. So we need that, but we do have a dome light. Well, that's something. But let's see if, oh yeah, there's a crack in the windshield, but it's not on the driver's side, so that's good, which means it's legal. Let us try some things. We have just one battery in it. I would like to run a second battery just for winch stuff, but I'm not sure. I might need the keys for those, but all right, I'm hearing clicking, and so definitely something working. So maybe we can get the winch working in the future, but no. So what else doesn't work? Well, let me grab the keys and show you. We have issues with lights and indicators, and we have extra lights here. Some fun things. So let's try out all of that, and then we'll see if we can get it running a little bit better. Let's start with indicators. We'll put on the hazards, and we do have some things working up front here, which is good. Spotlight's not working. And back here, someone's fitted LED things. I'm not a big fan. I think I may want to swap those out, especially because I believe that is supposed to be a reverse light. And there's nothing on the other side. So that's interesting. Also, these side marker lights aren't working. And I can understand why. If you have a look at the fuse box, yeah, I'll have to dig into that. But headlights work, main and low beam works. Speedometer, not working. So the mileage is 281,000 kilometers. That might be off. But we'll check the old MOT history, because maybe that is just a recent thing. I'm not completely sure. And the radio actually works. It sounds terrible, but it works. And we have some extra lights here, so we'll switch them all on. And there's some flashing things and some other things. It's quite exciting. So it looks absolutely terrible. Yeah. Oh, I want to remove that, and also the gold emblem here, but it's something. And back here, the only lights I like are these. There's two spotlights on each side and the bottom, and there's one back there. That's really good. And you got more weird blinky lights up there, so maybe we get rid of all the blinky stuff, maybe add something better blinky. But I'm liking the LED spotlights. Maybe add a front spotlight or something. But yeah, festive lights. In the glove box, I found the two previous inspections. So the oldest one, I really just want to see the mileage. Oh yeah, so this is from 2020, and then it's had, how much is that? Oh, we'll turn off all the extra lights and things. It has about 8,000 kilometers less. So it's been used, so that is good. And then it had perfect brakes and everything seemed fine and everything working on it. Then, now in 2023, we have a list. We have, the exhaust system is not really hung in place, and that is loose. But that's just welding on a bracket and putting some things on, so that's no problem. The rear brakes are uneven, and yeah, I can see there's hardly any braking on the left rear. So either that's adjustment, there's drums, or it's a wheel cylinder. I think we'll order wheel cylinders and take it apart and have a look at that. Parking brake not working, and it won't. And there's something wrong with it. Yeah, definitely. Seems to go really far. You can't lock it, and they've definitely tried to fix it because the cover is off, and there's a screw for it there, and there's part of it. It's exciting. Yeah, so that is something to fix. Lights were not working on it, front lights, headlights, but they're working now, so they fixed that. Side markings on both sides not working, in the front and back, so yeah, that's not working. Wheel bearing in the right front has some play in it. When driving at home, I did check and I haven't heard any noise, and it didn't get warm, so hopefully I can just take it out, pack it with new grease, and readjust it, because it should be regular old school wheel bearings. And the last one is the emissions are too high. It's a vehicle of this age should have 4.5 as a maximum. This has 6.2, and that's what we're going to get to see if we can fix in today's video. And then a good to know sort of advisory is brake disc on the left front has some rust on it. So yeah, that's some things. But before we fix all this, the plan for this thing is, initially, I want to get it functional and working and on the road. To do that, we'll have to go through the brakes. We have to see why this thing goes down a little bit. I had looked online, and for about $10 I can get a rebuild kit for the Master, so I think we'll start there and see what happens. We'll do wheel cylinders in the back. I will look how bad the discs are up front and see if I want to replace them or not. Because when this thing is towing, it's quite a heavy vehicle. I want good brakes, and we'll fix the parking brake. Then, hasn't really been driven since the last, and the tires in the back were illegal. However, I feel like the tread's a little low, so I see if I can get a set of maybe used tires for it. Just because we don't want to spend too much before we know if this thing's any good or not. Engine-wise, is a 4.2 straight 6 gasoline power. It is a timing belt engine. So do you want to replace the timing belt, give it a full service, and then do the rear end fluids, transmission, everything, and fix that. Then, well, it's getting it running right. That is a big thing, and getting the winch working. And then I really just want to try and use it a bit. And then, you've seen the outside, it's not the greatest. I want to do something about that cosmetically. It's really mostly surface rust in a couple places, and then you got faded paint. See how much we can polish up, and then touch in the paint where there's some surface rust, fix it up, and just make it look presentable. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it will represent me and my business when I'm out driving, so I want it to look a little bit nicer. So let's have a look in here in the doghouse, and I'll show you what I think is the issue why this thing is running so rich. Before I picked this thing up and I bought it, because yeah, bought it sight unseen, as you do, I tried to get some information on this engine. I couldn't find that much, and I couldn't find that much about the fuel injection system. I just asked him if it was injected, and asked him which system it was. He said, I have no idea. I said, great. Then I had a look under here, and right back there is an ECU, and it said Digifant, or Digifant. And I looked that up, and it was a Volkswagen-derived ignition system made by Bosch, used on the Golf, the GTI, the Jetta, and those things of this era. And it's apparently really reliable and quite simple. So what I saw initially was, if you look here, that's a connector in here, and there's no wires going to it. And I was thinking, okay, that might be for some coolant sensing, maybe for an extra fan or something. And then I just Googled, as you do when you don't know, Digifant, or Digifant, I can't remember what it's called, Digifant running rich. And I got into all these GTI forums and things, and they were all talking about the blue sensor. And I realized this is a coolant temp sensor. And of course, that's not plugged in. It's not going to be running right. So I dug around here a little bit, and somewhere down here, I found this harness, and I found these cables taped up. So I think that they should go there. That's just a guess. My guess is that they've been ripped off when you take the doghouse cover up and down. Maybe that's the case, maybe not. Because let's say there's an issue with the sensor and they had to get rid of it for it to run. You just unplug the sensor. You wouldn't cut the cable. So, let's see. I got this off before. How did I do it? What in the... I did this in the dark. Like, oh, there we go. I don't think I can attach them to this. I don't have any Bosch connectors laying around. However, I can probably figure out which color went where. And these are just regular small pins, so I'll just use small connectors, put them on there. And let's just do that. Let's just connect it up and see if we can get this thing running a little bit better. This will not pick up on camera, but that one I can see there's a little bit of green plastic on it. So I should be on the right thing, because this cable has green on it, and I put it on that side, and the other one is brown and white. So this could be a complete gamble, but I think so. It's the only wires I found in here. Hopefully they weren't cut because of an issue. Hopefully it was just, incompetence. But let us put it in neutral. Let's see. Oh, hello. Let's see if it still smells terrible back here. It's awesome inside, because it was a rich thing. Bit of an exhaust blow by the cap there. Doesn't smell rich, just smells like, 90s car with a cat. Idle's still really high, but there could be vacuum leaks and other things. I don't know. Let's see if it will rev. No more misfires. That's really good. Alright, it's still idling pretty high, but it is cold. So I'm not sure. Maybe it has a pretty high cold idle. Also, when I drove it home, it never really reached up a temperature. So that could be a thing as well, that the thermostat is open or maybe removed. So we're gonna replace it at least. Double check, but I feel like the idle is slowly coming down. Not sure, but it is not smelling like fuel anymore, and it is running a lot smoother. So I think that connector was supposed to be there, or those cables at least. Look at whose idle just came down. That's great. And then it comes down there. It's supposed to have an electric idle stabilization. I'm guessing that's it. Well, this is not bad at all. And before, at part throttle, it was bogging down like crazy. Let's see if it's better. And there we go. Idle is down. The other slight issue is that light is always blinking, and I believe that is coolant level low, but the level seems to be correct, so I have to have a look at that maybe. But other than that, I'm really happy about this. Let's just take it for a little brief drive, see if it is any better. I noticed one thing while getting my camera mount is it wasn't stinging my eyes how Richard was running like it was on the way home. Not when you're in the car, no exhaust leaks in the cabin, but when you were behind it before. Oh, sorry about the lighting. It is difficult. Right now it's late in the evening. But I mean, it's not bucking. Before it was like this. This is quite awesome, and I'm just trying. We're in top gear, and I just really want to see if I can accelerate in top gear, because I could not do that before. There we go. Would you know, if you give a fuel-injected engine all of the sensors it needs, it actually works. It's not going to be full acceleration, but a little bit, because this thing actually has a little bit of power now. Actually feels like it could haul stuff. And guess what? This thing isn't terribly slow right now. It actually kind of hauls. I mean, the speed doesn't work, but it's not like it was before. It's quick, and I actually feel like I even think with a full load it can do highway speeds right now, which before it was struggling without. So you got to see some issues that it has, some plans. I need to collect some parts and do some other things. What I want to do with the timing belt is I'm going to replace it, of course, but I want to get this thing MOT'd. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the cover and have a look. If it looks really old and all shiny and stuff, or dry rotted or anything, replace it right away. I'm not going to drive it anymore until we looked into that. But if it looks pretty decent, I will probably MOT it first and then replace it afterwards once I know that everything else is fine with it. But yeah, little tow truck over here. I think this is a good addition to the fleet. I'm not sure if it counts as part of the fleet, but it will help the fleet out, and it will help expand the fleet as well, because you know, go pick up cars that don't run as well. Anyways, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with friends. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. It really does help out a lot. Till next time, I'm Adam. This was Living with a Classic. I'll see you soon.